Be strong.
Alrighty, well, a very, very happy Friday, and welcome to the throw-in here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Excited to be bringing you the next 2 hours of the program to wrap up the end of the week. Yeah, that's what I like. All right, Justin here for the next 2 hours. Kicking off, we got a pretty impactful episode, a pretty busy weekend in the world of sports. That is including we have AEW on Revolution, the first pay-per-view of 2023 for AEW, which is live on Saturday, available on pay-per-view. I don't know if I'm going to watch the pay-per-view, but if anyone, I'm going to say this, is if anyone is out there going to buy the pay-per-view and going to stream it, and I'm sure someone on TikTok Live is going to probably do just that, then let me know. And definitely would like to give you a shout out here if you want to provide me any streaming information about that this night. I've told you guys this before, and I think I've talked about it a few times this week. And this is the first pay-per-view, I believe, for AEW. And the importance is that as the first pay-per-view of the year in 2023, it is important that AEW sets the standard and the bar. Now, one thing that I like about AEW's pay-per-views are that it's not they're not monthly, right? They really just set up and they focus on putting the shows on during the week and putting the shows on during, a few times throughout the year over the weekends. And so, you kind of get a good diversity between main event matches during the week and main event matches on pay-per-view. And this one's going to be set up to be a nice heavy one, as we see a longtime rival over the last few months. Actually, a couple of them are going to conclude, hopefully, this Sunday. And one of them is going to be MJF and Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship inside a Iron Man match. So this match here is going to take place within 60 minutes. And for those who have not heard of an Iron Man match, I think the rules are very simple. You go on and, you have the clock starts when the bell rings. You're going to compete for 60 minutes. If you score a pinfall or submission, a point gets added to your name. And the guy with the most points wins. Now, at the end of the 60 minutes, if you guys are tied, typically it will go for the winner will go to the current champion. But the other thing is that a lot of times they go on to, hey, there must be a winner. So it may go an additional 5, maybe 10 minutes longer after 60 minutes. So we will see MJF and Bryan Danielson to go at it. And when you think of this match and you compare an Iron Man match to Bryan Danielson, and you're like, it clicks in, right? Just like that. And and I'm like, Bryan Danielson is a workhorse in professional wrestling. He's able to go toe-to-toe and go to the level that you need him to go to night in and night out. So when I look at a 60-minute Iron Man match, I can easily see Bryan Danielson going through the entire 60 minutes and being able to still go longer if needed. And he goes from when the bell rings and to the very end. And there's only a few guys on the AEW roster that can potentially, that I can feel confident going 60 minutes and giving me that 5-star match, and that's Bryan Danielson. So I guess I kind of wonder how much of how much are we going to rely on Bryan Danielson to carry through this Iron Man match come Sunday? Now, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people overlook what MJF is capable of doing inside the ring. And he's had some incredible matches over the past few years. One recollecting last year with CM Punk in a dog collar match. But I think that for MJF, an Iron Man match is a little bit different. Bryan Danielson on Wednesday said some very good points. And he said that, listen, you haven't really earned this match. You haven't really earned the AEW World Championship. You haven't earned the respect from the fans inside the ring. Yes, he could cut the promo, and yes, he's had some great prep matches, but he hasn't really earned anything. And, he goes on and has a couple of months of incredible pipe bombs on the mic. He has a couple of matches with CM Punk. He goes on a hiatus last year, and then he comes back and then goes on and wins the AEW World Championship. And now we're seeing him have to kind of officially face his first challenge as champion, and that's to get through Bryan Danielson. Now, I don't know if it's time for Bryan Danielson to win a championship right now. And I don't know, but this is really to, I think, embed that MJF is that next guy. And so I want to hear from you. Who do you guys think is going to win this match? I think that Bryan Danielson is going to be reluctant to carry this match all the way through, not decrediting what MJF is capable of putting on, in the ring. But the thing is that I also feel that this is a match for MJF where he's going to not, I think he knows where he stands, but he's going to have to prove it to Bryan Danielson. He's going to have to prove it to the AEW fan base. He's going to have to prove it to Tony Khan if he's looking to continue this title reign down the road. So he's going to have to really step up his A game. All the talk is aside. You could talk about the wives. You could talk about separate, relationship separations. But come Sunday, they try to get, take cracks at each other, which I don't think really worked as well. Excuse me. I'm perfectly fine up until I get to this program, and then I have my allergies start flaring. Anyway, this is going to be a nice match. This is going to be a good match, and I think that there's going to be a lot to come out of this match. Now, earlier this week, I had a segment on bleeding and on professional wrestling bleeding. And if you guys don't know that, that's either someone has cut themselves prior to the match to reopen the cut later on in the in the actual match, or someone actually takes a razor and cuts their head open. And AEW is known for bleeding, and I think that's understandable. But I told you guys earlier this week, there is a time and there's a place for it. All right. And I think when it comes down to Sunday night, I think there's a couple of storylines that warrants bleeding. One of them is going to be this Iron Man match between MJF and Bryan Danielson. A next match that I think I'm really excited to follow along is this rivalry between Adam Page and Jon Moxley. Both men, they go 100%. And I really think that they bring the best out of each other in these matches. And so we're going to see a Texas death match, which how can you not have blood? But so there are going to be a few matches that warrants bleeding in at AEW Revolution. So we'll talk about AEW Revolution. I will give you my predictions today on this program on who I think is going to win, who I think is going to lose on these matches. and who I think is important to walk away noticeable out of this pay-per-view. We also have a busy night on SmackDown tonight as Roman Reigns has himself quite a handful. All right. Not only he has to deal with the turmoil that lurks within the bloodline because Jimmy Uso could not get to Jay last Friday night. He's going to also have to watch out because Cody Rhodes is going to appear tonight on SmackDown and confront Roman Reigns. And on top of that, Roman Reigns has a title defense against Sami Zayn in a rematch from Elimination Chamber taking place tomorrow in Toronto as the final roadblock to WrestleMania. It'll be the final match that Roman Reigns will face up until WrestleMania. And, I think a lot of people, I think that the story is clear. The story is clear that Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes is WrestleMania 39. But anything is possible in the WWE. And so we could very well see Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes or even Sami Zayn, somehow beat Roman Reigns. Now, it's highly likely, but we can potentially see that. So we'll talk about that in depth, getting you guys ready for SmackDown. Excuse me, tonight. I got to clear my windows during the break here, so I apologize for the nostril blowing here. But we'll talk about SmackDown coming up tonight. We'll get you guys ready for the weekend in the world of Cincinnati sports. Final games for NCAA basketball before the March Madness tournament. Couple games going on there. I know it's kind of rainy and gloomy outside, and man, I had to go out to get the oil change done on I had to go to Nissan this morning to get the oil change done because I've been, procrastinating getting that done time and time again. So I finally was able to get that done and get the oil change done. And then I get the whole list of everything that you have to get done on the vehicle. I was told that the battery failed, that I need to get brake fluid, flushed out, transmissions due, and nothing taken away from the service techs over there at Nissan. Great customer service, and I've been through it. I used to work for Jiffy Lube as a sales representative, trying to sell, but I don't go walk into a service and expect to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they give me this estimate of, all right, if you got all this stuff done, which we recommend you getting done, it's gonna be like $700-800, and I'm like, I don't have that money to go spend, at least coming into service. So got my oil change, got the tires rotated, gonna be looking for gonna take over look over the list, see what could potentially wait, see what I need to get done now, and start saving up to get that stuff done slowly but surely. So but man, things have changed. I finally got that done. It's been raining all morning long. I don't know if it's raining right now, but it's very gloomy. Expected to rain a little bit more today. So if you guys are out there and you guys are experiencing yourself in the rain, please be safe driving. I can't express enough. Went to Walmart, got drenched, had to get a couple of things for dinner tonight. The rain was just bad, I'll be honest. So go on and please be safe on a Friday. Want to have a good weekend. And then I'll probably be getting my picking up the girls from the bus later on this afternoon. So a nice afternoon time with them. So that's going to be a fun day to kick off the weekend. A lot of sports going on. Like I said, we'll talk about that. So excited to get started on a Friday afternoon. Let's finish up the week with the big. If you guys are watching us over on YouTube, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button for more information. Press down to keep those notifications on and don't miss a single episode. If you guys are watching us on Facebook or Twitter, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys think, what about the topics. If there's questions you guys want to ask me, head on over to our YouTube page and leave a comment down below. Definitely find yourself on today's program. Facebook and Twitter, please hit that like button, share it with all your friends. And for those who are downloading us and listening to us on our audio platforms, we thank you and welcome you guys to the throw-in here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. And we encourage you guys to check us out live where you guys can interact with all of us. So we thank you and welcome you guys aboard. All right, it is a Friday afternoon. It is 12:17. Let's go ahead and take our first time out, come back, get you guys ready for the weekend world of Cincinnati Reds baseball. And the big question coming out of this weekend that I want to ask you and talk to you about is what do you excuse me, what will it take for you to forgive the Castellinis moving forward into the red season? Is there an answer to that? We'll talk about that here still to come. You guys are listening to the throw-in with Justin. That's me right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
Inside your bedroom, we stopped counting the days, lost in the rhythm. Physical silence, no need to speak a word, let you beside me. Don't wanna move too Ten toes down, I'm around. Whole life been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Everything I do for the game. Ten toes down, I'm around with the gang.
Alrighty, welcome back here to 1222, taking you guys up until 2 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. Want to welcome you guys back to the throw-in here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Want to go ahead and give you guys, let you guys know a little bit about this program, and we couldn't have done any of this without the help of StreamYard Studios, which is a online recording platform for podcasts, videos. You could host virtual business meetings and conduct interviews, therefore, and so forth. And really love this product. Been using it since day one. I want to give a big shout out to StreamYard Studios. Thank you so much for providing an easy platform here where I could share screens, I could play music, I could play videos, have overlays here. And if you guys are new into this and you guys want to create your own YouTube channel, maybe go live on Facebook or Twitter and chat with people, host, if you have a business meetings, they got a free version over there at StreamYard.com. So I highly recommend checking that out. Thank you guys over there at StreamYard for making all of this possible. Alrighty. Well, I kind of took during the break, I kind of cleared my nose. So I feel a lot better than the opening segment. And I absolutely hate it. Like I said, the allergies just really bond bare as soon as I press that record button. Then I don't have anything. I don't want you to, blow my nose in front of you guys on the camera. I don't want you to have to deal with all that. So it was dreadful getting through that first segment. But you know what? We are here. We are ready to go and counting down the days, you guys. Let me mention this to you guys. It's Friday, March 3rd. You got 1, 2, 3. That's 20 hours. So including today, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 14, 21, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31. Really? 31 days? I don't. What am I doing wrong here? All right. Let me get including today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 days. I was able to do math. 28 days away from opening day. We're between the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I know the month of March, we kicked off strong on March 1st. And the remainder of March is going to be every single day. I'm going to hound it on you guys. We're getting closer to Reds baseball opening day. And, it's exciting. And I got to ask, are you guys excited? Are you guys excited for some Reds baseball? I sure hope so. I mean, I know it doesn't look so great out there right now, but I'm hoping that you guys are excited for Reds baseball. And I've told you guys, I've been mentioning the reasons why you should be excited to watch Reds baseball this season. And, the reasons why, we should be able to move on and move past whatever frustration we may have. Now, we've talked about this before, but I think the ultimate question is going to be, which is what's being asked around in Cincinnati, all week long, is what is it going to take to forgive the Castellinis? Let's admit, okay, I don't know. The Castellinis claim that they're in a rebuild mode. And what rebuild mode are you in compared to, that? I guess my question is what type of rebuild mode are you could possibly be in if you weren't a champion to begin with? You know what I'm saying? So they talk about the rebuild mode. All right. So what are you rebuilding? You're going to get rid of everyone that you had, start from scratch, work down from your minor leagues, bring them up. And what does that give us? So, we gotten rid of since then. I want to kind of, I have this list right here. Since then, all right, we've gotten rid of guys like Jesse Winker, Nick Castellanos, Eugenio Suarez, Sonny Gray, Amir Garrett, Tucker Barnhart, Wade Miley. Shall I continue? Luis Castillo was a part of that plan. And some of the guys are actually validated. Some of the guys I see here and say, all right, I think, listen, Amir Garrett was one of them. Tucker Barnhart was getting old, although I would like to see him transition to Tyler Stevenson. Jesse Winker, Nick Castellanos, contract signing. Eugenio Suarez, I completely understand. He wasn't performing to his standard. You had to get rid of him. And I talked about this last year. It wasn't about getting rid of, if you got rid of Suarez, you honestly had to get rid of somebody else. Somebody else that was at the plate, at the dish, that just was probably better than Suarez, and that was Winker. But you got rid of Winker, and you didn't bother making an attempt to re-sign Castellanos. You let him go in free agency. Sonny Gray, Wade Miley, yes, I mean, there was no attempt at at least re-signing them, although I don't know if you were going to be able to get them at all. So, the Reds have already hit this rock bottom, and that was the beginning of 2021. And, as a fan, you questioned, why in the world were we making this transition back in 2020, we went to the went to the wild card series and faced Miami. Although we lost, it built confidence for 2021. We fought until September, and we had our own struggles, and St. Louis went on this 17-game miraculous streak and surpassed us. And we didn't make it into the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, we are now gutting our team in 2022, fluctuated with a whole bunch of injuries to kick off the season because of the CBA agreement, thanks to the Castellinis that didn't want to agree to anything that was being presented, which then cost us, a 3-23 start of the season, and we barely played 500. Oh, let's not forget about reminding you guys about what happened on opening day last year for the home opener against the Guardians, where Bob Castellini came out to the media and told the Cincinnati Reds fans, saying, listen, I don't care if you like us or not. I don't care if you agree with the decisions that we make or not. We're the only professional sports team that, for baseball that's around, and you're going to come here whether you like it or not and give us your money, because if you are a baseball fan, that's what you're going to do. I remember the whole controversy. The Florence Yalls was being a part of that. I'm like, hey, listen, we're down here 15 minutes down away from you guys. Hop on down here during the season and let's show the Reds that we are also a professional sports team. And then let's not forget about everything that has happened over the last 2 months with Phil Castellini going to Rosie Red and saying that we are at the bottom of the barrel and we're going to lose before the season even started. We have an absolute 0% chance of making it to the playoffs. Man, it's frustrating. But I've told you guys before, how much of it is the players to how much of it is the ownership. Nick Krell, I'm not going to go blame the general manager, although maybe there are arguments to go blame Nick Krell. But he's given an impossible task to put up these, to get ball players and put together a winning team, or try to put together a winning team based off of a low budget. And I was looking through an article the other day, or this morning actually, and I noticed that, you look at the San Diego Padres, why are they so successful right now? They spent over $800 million in revenue. Now, you don't have to be a winning ball club to go spend $800 in revenue for players, but we're at the bottom of the totem pole. We haven't spent $400 million. And so Nick Krall is kind of with his hands tied, trying to do what he can do with this organization. And now you get, I don't really want to blame the players. I appreciate that the players, we see the players take accountability for their performances on the field. And yes, last year they did not live up to the standard that they were expected to play at. And players are acknowledging that. Hunter Green, Nick Lodolu, Joey Votto, Tyler Stevenson. Injuries provoked a terrible season. But now, how much of it do you blame the Castellinis? And I think that um the momentum, the motive, the atmosphere right now has the life of going to the Great American Ballpark and watching the Cincinnati Reds play baseball just got sucked out of you because of everything that the Castellinis have came to social media and talked about. The Castellinis didn't even bother going to the Reds caravan a couple weeks ago. And I don't know the answers of why. We could only maybe speculate and make assumptions, but it's probably good to say that they probably would have gotten some backlash if they went to Reds caravan. I want to find a little bit of hope in the ownership of the organization that even though we have to tank, no one's saying that we have to, but we're choosing to tank. We're choosing to take a different direction in the way that we win ball games. I hope, I want to, there has to be positive feedback from that. What do I mean? It's like, all right, if I'm the Castellinis, I'm saying, listen, here's our plan. All right, we can't afford these guys. These guys are coming up on contract year. We can't keep Jesse Winker. We can't. I would have been out and said, hey, listen, you know what? Eugenio Rosales, I'm sorry. He was a good third baseman, but his bat was hurting us. And, his playing was hurting us in 2021. And we really want to get improvement. And so, it came the cost of Jesse Winker also, but we had to get both of those out of there. I want to hear that, hey, we tried to get Nick Castellanos back, but his contract was just too much. We wanted to work something out with Luis Castillo, but we believe in these minor league guys. We believe in Hunter Green and Graham Ashcraft, that these are the guys that are going to come up and shape the Reds organization. It's time for a new look, right? We're going to bring in, Jake Fraley and Stuart Fairchild and Spencer Steer, and they're going to be the next stars of Cincinnati Reds. At the same time, listen, and we're asking you, it's not in the NFL. It's not going to happen overnight, but we're asking you to kind of hang in with us, come out to the ballpark, support what we're trying to do, at least support these players who are trying to make it through the big leagues. And we're trying to give you a consistent, progression out there on the field, right? That's what I would love to hear the Castellinis come out there and say, but they went completely opposite. So my question is to you, what will it take to forgive the Castellinis? Now, we know one thing. Let's be realistic. They're not selling the team anytime soon, and I don't think Rob Manfred is going to force them, or the MLB owners are going to force the Castellinis out of Cincinnati anytime soon. So we're going to have to live with them. So what will it take? Will a championship be satisfying enough? Will going to the playoffs be satisfying enough? I mean, I think that was one of the big concerns. There was an article that came out on Cincinnati.com by Jason Williams about what will it take? Just not just putting a winning team on the field. You want consecutive winning seasons. We did the same thing. We haven't had a winning series in the playoffs since 1995. I don't know if it's fair to compare the Reds to the Bengals ownership, but we did the same exact thing. It took us a Super Bowl to forgive the Bengals owner, Mike Brown. And so, what is it going to take? But, we got to remember, this is not the NFL. We're not going to be able to um, make all this happen in one night, right? We're not going to be able to make this all happen in one night. We got to be able to stretch it out over the next 3 to 5 years. But, it wasn't that long ago that we were seeing ourselves at this. We were getting compared to the same team that the San Diego Padres were putting out. And it looks like the Padres are a team that's moving up. We're also getting compared to the Chicago White Sox, and they're kind of still lingering around. But we really took a complete 180. And I think, if anything is going to work through for the Castellinis moving forward and trying to build that ownership, first of all, give us the space. Give us time. Give us the space. Allow us to soak in this new direction for Reds baseball. Give these players the opportunity, and don't stick your nose into the players' progression, into the team's progression. Let Nick Krall, and let David Bell, and let the Cincinnati Reds players of the 40-man roster go out there and do what they need to do, for one. And I don't want to see the Castellinis come out to a media market and say anything until they could figure out what they're going to say. Maybe go hire a PR rep and have him write out your script of what you're going to say and how you're going to answer questions, because it seems like everything that's coming out as of late has been garbage. I would like to see is also an accountability from the Castellinis. Go ahead. Let's acknowledge the elephant in the room, and that is the verbal verbal communication that the Castellinis have pushed upon us, which have been negative. Give a little bit of hope to the Reds fan base. Give a little bit of hope to, even if you don't believe it, make us believe it. Say it like you do believe it. Give us a little hope that, hey, this is a progression, that we're looking for on a 3 to 5 year span, and we're looking to see it through. Even if you go behind closed doors and says, listen, I don't care about this ball club. Let's can this for the next decade and collect all the money. Say that behind closed doors. Don't come out here and say it to the fans. Make us believe that you have a game plan for the next 3 to 5 years and you're invested into the game plan. And then also, let's get the community, say stuff that wants the community to come back and to watch these ball games. You want to make people come watch these ball games. No one's going to come, even if you say, I remember, when the Padres were going through their rebuild mode, Ron Fowler and Peter Seidler, they're all saying, hey, let the Dodgers flood in San Diego and take over Petco Park, because it's going to be their money that's going to give us a winning team in 3 to 5 years down the road. You maybe go out there and say Phil Castellini, say that, hey, listen, I want all those Cardinals fans to come to Great American Ballpark. I want all those Brewers and Cubs fans to come over, and I want them to give us their money. Bring on the Yankees fans, because then that money is going to turn back around, getting us the ball players that we need to win. Even if that's not true, make us believe it. Make us believe that you actually care, and start acting like it. So I'm asking you guys, and I want to know what you guys think. What will it take for you to forgive the Castellinis and move on from this back and forth confrontation that we've had between the ownership of the Reds and the fan base? Let's step aside and let's talk about some Cincinnati Reds baseball. They got three games coming up this weekend, starting today with the Chicago White Sox. We'll get you all that information, the lineup, and more, and a trip around the sports. You guys are listening to The Throne right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
me from my winter hell. I've got candles and candy. I can be your daddy if you only let me creep into your
Alrighty, 12:45 here on the program. And gonna see how well we do this on a Friday, because it seems to me that the internet's kind of slow, because whenever I play my commercial break, normally, on StreamYard, this is why StreamYard is so good, because when you play your commercial break, and let me see if I can go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So let me share with you. There we go. Uh-oh. All right. So I'm going to share with you my screen here. And as you can see, and forget about the stuff right here. Excuse me. But as you can see, StreamYard has, and I guess we're just going to take a look around StreamYard. So when I log into StreamYard, you have my recording stuff. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I can end the broadcast. And, I have my color display up here. I could highlight my name, which when I go back to my normal screen, you can see my name down there at the bottom left-hand corner. But, you can see where I can share my screen at. And this is why I recommend you guys having StreamYard if you guys are looking to do your own. And maybe I got to spend a segment just showing you guys StreamYard next week. But you can display your name. Take that off. I'll keep it on there for now. And then you could have your logos. They always have the StreamYard logo. And then I uploaded the TNC Sports Talk logo there. You could add the overlay for the screens. StreamYard. There you go. And then you come down here. You got the pictures that I'm planning hopefully to show them for you. I could upload later and whatnot. Then we have our videos. And typically how I do this is I'll play a video. It says 3 minutes. So like, for example, this one is 3 minutes, 33 seconds, commercial break. And what ends up happening is that it will actually count to the second. So I could count it. So I could do like 5, when it gets down to 5 seconds, I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch my page to Epidemic Sound and play my music. But then what ends up happening is that because of the weather is nasty out here and I live out by the bush, is that it ends up freezing, and sometimes the music also stops. So yeah. And then I'm like, okay, what's going on? So sometimes I run to my phone, go live, which is like a 7 second delay. Or sometimes I'm like, all right, can I hear the music? Sometimes it will stop counting. So I try to base myself off the music. But then if the music stops and I'm like, oh no, I'm just screwed. So sometimes if you see us coming back from break and it becomes silent for a couple seconds, that's just strictly because I can't get to I'm trying to time it right and I'm having complications on my end. I know a lot of people don't know about that, but you know what? If you're looking for StreamYard Studios, that's a good place to go. All right. Cincinnati Reds has themselves a nice, pretty big weekend ahead of us of baseball as they get ready to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Reds come into play 2-2 as the Chicago White Sox are 3-3. Dylan Cease is on the mound for the White Sox as Luke Weaver will get the nod for the Reds. And hey, so far about a week into spring training, handful of games. You know what? Not too terrible. I think you have to allow yourself some room and margins for error. You got a lot of players that are playing different positions. And you got to ask yourself, how do you think the Reds are playing this year? Right. So I don't know. Maybe do I have? Yeah, no, I don't have that, which sucks. But so how are the Reds playing this year? Well, they're not playing bad, right? They're not terrible, but you're really not seeing the actual side of the Reds roster. Jose Barrero is over there at short. The competition out there at shortstop this spring. We haven't yet seen Joey Votto participate, so we really don't know the status of Votto. But no, they're not doing terrible. I think when I think that things do get slip away, and you see it with other teams as well. When you get yourself into when you guys get yourself deep into your bullpen, and you get yourself deep into your regular lineup, then you're trying to plug in pieces here and there, and you don't have that same lineup every single day. Like, for example, the Padres. You're throwing Alexander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, Jake Cronenworth out there almost every single day. But then it's those backup guys. But for the Reds, you don't have the same starting lineup that you may see or potentially see for opening day out there right now. So, there's still a lot of plugins here and there that we're trying to, or that, David Bell is trying to figure out pre-opening day. And we still have plenty of baseball in spring training to determine that. But, I think it's really misdirection. There's a lot of misdirection, and it's kind of misleading when you don't see a consistency out of your organization. So as we look in today's game, like I mentioned, Luke Weaver, right-handed pitcher, taking on Dylan Cease, which is also a right-handed pitcher. The game is going to will be available audio-wise on WMVP at 1,000 AM for the White Sox and WSAI 1360 for the Reds. First pitch is at 3:05 at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. And I got that lineup for you for the Cincinnati Reds. We got to see Jonathan India batting first, playing second base today. Tyler Stevenson coming into the game batting 125. He'll be doing the catching behind the plate. Will Myers out there in right field. He'll be batting third. Jake Fraley batting cleanup. He'll be in left field. Batting fifth is Chad Pender playing first base. The designated hitter, Kurt Castellini, he'll be batting sixth. TJ Friedel, he'll be in center field batting seventh. Kevin Newman would play out there at shortstop today. He'll be batting eighth, and batting ninth, your third baseman, Spencer Steer. Jonathan India, Tyler Stevenson, Will Myers is 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6 is Jake Fraley, Chad Pender, and Kurt Castellini. TJ Friedel, Kevin Newman, and Spencer Steer, all in that lineup expected today for first pitch is in about a little over 2 hours. Now, this lineup is subject to change. I want to remind everyone that. So just because it's penciled in right now does not mean that it's permanent. The Reds are going to go on and have a couple more games this weekend as they will be on the road for Saturday's game, taking on the Kansas City Royals. Expected pitchers for that game will be Connor Overton for the Redlegs, and for the Royals is Jonathan Heasley. And then they'll wrap up Sunday weekend action in Tempe de Diablo Stadium against the Angels. Luis Essa will get the nod for that game, and yet expected to be playing that in the game. The Angels have yet to put out the pitcher for Sunday's afternoon game. It's one thing I want to talk about next week. We'll take a look at how, a couple of things we want to, I guess, talk about and figure out is kind of start, early spring training, possible Reds possible opening day roster. I'm just writing that down myself. And the reason why I want to talk about that coming up the beginning of the week, and I know we still have a long ways of spring training, but I think it's important to start getting an idea of where to plug in these players because, the Reds are only going to be as good as these players out there on the field. Regardless of whatever the Castellinis decide to do when it comes down to wheeling and dealing and trading ball players, the Reds are only good. The Castellinis ain't out on the field. And this is where earlier I say that the Reds have needing to take accountability because they're not out on the field, it's the players that do it. And their success is only as good as they play, right? I mean, you can't, you can go, it is the ownership's responsibility to give the general manager the budget for his organization, saying, hey, I want to spend X dollar amount. You got to make it happen with this figure. And then it's the general manager to kind of put together a team within that budget that they can bring up. Now, the owners, yes, the ownership is going to talk, with the general manager about, all right, who would you like to see that we're going out to get? Right. So Nick Kroll is sitting there telling, all right, Phil, Bob, we got X, Y, we got 1, 2, and 3 set up. Do you like these guys? Or do you see someone else coming in? Is there someone in the free agent market you like us to go grab? That basically what Nick Kroll is doing. He says, I got these young guys and this is what I'm expecting for them this season. Do you agree or no? And the Castellini say, yep, go ahead, or no, I want them this where, and then Nick Kroll goes back and talks with David Bell. All right, this is what the Castellinis want. All right. And then Nick Kroll is going to be like, all right, I like these guys to come in our ball club. These are how much they're asking for. Castellini, can you sign those checks? Like, yep, nope, decision. And then they go back down and we can figure that. So, but mainly it's Nick Kroll, right? He has the advantage of signing these players, bringing them up through the system. And then he goes down to David Bell and say, all right, here's what we have to work with. Who do you like? Who do you don't like? This is where the Castellinis want to bring these people up, whether you like it or not. So you have to deal with that, situation. And then David Bell sets that lineup. But then the rest of it is all the players, right? So, if it's how bad Jake Fraley wants to be an everyday left fielder is how much he puts into working. And, it's being able to play together. Nick Senzel, it's Joey Votto, Will Myers. So as much as we want to yet again point fingers to, yes, I think it's fair to say the Castellinis have had a major negative impact on the progress that the Reds are making. The Reds are only playing the best baseball that they have on the field right now. And the only people that can change that is the players, is the Will Myers and the Joey Votto. Because they can easily beat the Padres. Money doesn't mean anything. You could have the worst roster. We've seen the Cubs do it. We've seen the Astros do it. We've seen the Guardians do it. It is possible to win a World Series and not have the top players, not be the LAs and Dodgers and not be the New York Yankees. So I don't know. I digress. Let me know what you guys think. All right, hour number 2 coming up here. Want to transition, get you around the week in a world of sports here in Cincinnati. A couple of final games of NBA, NCAA basketball goes on. Much more still to come. Stick around. You guys are listening to The Throw-In on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free.
Alrighty. Well, time kind of got slipped away with me here. I want to apologize, everyone here. Welcome back to the throw-in. Kind of went a little early for break. Had to use the bathroom. Now I'm interested. The next break I'm gonna go through is see how long I was away when the camera came back. No, I got everything set up for hour number 2 here, and next thing you know, I ended up, like I said, I had to step away to use the bathroom, and I guess I got lost track of time. So, all right, hour number 2 here on the throne. Welcome back here, everyone. Justin, take you guys up until 2, and we got some nice, interesting sports coming your way here on hour number 2 as we settle things in and get ready for SmackDown AEW Revolution. But before we do anything, I want to give a big shout out to I give a big shout out to a couple of people. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Trey Chappelle, who has been promoting his play that will be live on April 7th and April 8th. Okay. And so last month in February, we did a rapid set of interviews. There was actually a bunch of recording interviews that I aired on this program. And I did that because they were about to have, Terry Chappelle is a writer, a director. He's been writing plays, quick shorts, and he shares me, them all the time. And he had this play on called Love's Not Enough that was played at the Community Arts Center in Fairfield, Ohio, back at the beginning of February. So he came to me, he says, listen, I want a platform to have these actresses and actors and producers to come on and kind of share their experience, their journey, their what they're doing, whether they're new, whether they're young. And we really had a diverse set of group of men, women, children coming on and sharing their information with us about being on a play. Right. This is learning about Enlightened. I learned a lot about Enlightened Studios. I learned a lot about the cast members, and I learned a lot about Love's Not Enough. And it was based off of a true story. It was revamped from 2019, where Terry kind of revamped it up, added more humor to it, and added a little bit more storyline to each character. And so that was, I'm interested in talking. I'm working on getting to talk with him. We were supposed to sit down and talk and do an interview this week, but something came up, and so we're working on something next week. And so I'm excited to talk to him, see how it went. Apparently it went well because they're asking him to come back on April 7th and 8th and do performances again. So hopefully as we learn more information about that, I can share with you guys, but expect for the month of March to do more interviews, revisiting these cast members based off of and learning a little bit more about them and this second time around. Their ultimate goal is to get themselves up and going on the road, taking this play on the tour. I mean, it really, you're emphasizing this play really emphasized that in relationships, whether that is personal couple relationships, family relationships, friend relationships, that the 4-letter word love is not enough just to keep it going. There's a lot of sacrifices on both ends. There's a lot of understanding and patience that you have to learn and teach one another. And you really get one family. All right, it's one family, maybe a couple friends that have a diversity all around, whether you're in the military, whether you're dealing with maybe abuse, or you're dealing with personal health problems that I think everyone can relate to, especially when it comes down to intimacy and to the deep darkness of relationships that a lot of people avoid talking about and avoid facing with each other. So excited to get him back on our show, getting him to talk to him about that. And I'm excited to see other stuff because I know he's working on other plays. Great guy, Terry Chappell, the second, Enlightened Studios. If you guys missed the first section of plays, I highly recommend going out there back for night number 2. Another set of people I want to give a big shout out to is over there at Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast. It's actually been a while. As a matter of fact, let me go on here and see because it's been a while. And I know work has kind of been crazy. And yeah, it's actually been over a week since we last heard of the latest episode on Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast, where Steve Barber, Dwayne Davis come on and talk about all wrestling. All right. And I know that both of them individually, they go on and they do their own things. But when you really want wrestling information and you really want the wrestling information take and opinions off of just wrestling fans, you want the opinions on it, you tune into Armchair Booking. They've been long life friends they've been friends from day one back in high school. And they really have been, they've known each other for several years. They've gone off and done their, living their lives, and they come back together to talk about the sport that we love talking about, and that's professional wrestling. Dwayne Davis, Steve Barber, Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast. They're the ones that, as a matter of fact, reason why, we haven't talked about them in a while. So I want to give a big shout out, big love out there for them. The thing is that when the TNC Sports Talk first started developing 2 years ago, we were complexing over, we were, we're getting our feet wet in the podcasting. We ran into Steve at an NWF local wrestling event. And, from there, we've kind of elaborated. There's been, if I have a wrestling question, if I have a wrestling thought that I want opinion off of someone else to understand besides just my thoughts, because in this world, especially in the wrestling world, it's always good to have multiple opinions and a different point of view. I go to Steve about it. And sometimes I'll answer questions on the show. I know back when they did the Elimination Chamber preview, I was asking a lot of questions and they were answering them. And so they really helped us. Steve Barber's helped us. We've helped them, and they're great guys. So recommend checking them out. The latest episode is Why Are We Fans with Jamie and John from the True Crime Podcast and Bless Their Hearts Podcast. That was about 10 days ago. Give them a share and subscribe, please, and listen to them everywhere they go. Definitely, worth checking them out. So, all right, let's get down to the local world of sports here. Nice, a couple weekend events. Cincinnati Cyclones, they get ready to tip off, or not tip off, but they get ready to square off in two back-to-back games tonight and tomorrow. Tonight, puck drops at 7:30 at Heritage Bank Park, Heritage Bank's Arena, where the Cyclones will take on the Iowa Highlanders on a mascot pillow giveaway night. So if you guys got nothing to do, want to head out to a hockey game this evening, recommend heading out to the Cyclones game. Great atmosphere, great game. I'm hoping to catch a game before the end of the season. We'll see. If you guys are looking for, then they'll have a Cincinnati Hippo night at the Heritage Bank Arena tomorrow night, 7:30, where the Cincinnati Cyclones are going to be facing the Indy Fuels. This is interesting heading into this weekend, heading into the first weekend of the month of March for ECHL hockey. Cincinnati just right behind Toledo Walleye, and then Indy Fuels. So Saturday's game is going to be a big game with Indy Fuel because it's really temperamental with the division. Around the league in the ECHL, to things to look out for. The Wheeling Nailers will be facing the Indy Fuels tonight at 7 p.m. Toledo Walleyes have today off. They'll be facing the Iowa Highlanders tomorrow night. So if you guys are looking to catch a couple of the other games going around, check them out. Cincinnati Bearcats basketball, final game of the season as NCAA finishes up their regular season of play this weekend. Sunday at 2 p.m. against the SMU Mustangs. Cincinnati coming into the final game 19-11 on the year, 10-7 and overall in the conference play. They are 14-3 at home, looking to make that 15-3 for the Bearcats. The Bearcats baseball team begins a doubleheader both Saturday and Sunday, as their game was canceled today because of the weather inclements. They are 2-6 coming into this series with a 4-game losing streak. First game on Saturday against North Alabama will be at high noon, and then at 3:30 to the doubleheader on day 1. Day 2 on Sunday, first pitch against North Alabama will be at 11 a.m. and the second will be first pitch is at 2:30. Xavier Musketeer basketball final game of the season at home against the Georgia Bulldogs will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Xavier goes into gameplay overall 22-8, 14-5 in conference play. They are 14-2 at home. Baseball wise for the Musketeers, they're 4-5 heading into their 3-game series against the UC Santa Barbara on the road. It must be nice to be in California right now. They're on a 4-game winning streak. First game's tonight against Santa Barbara. Xavier's Ethan Busacker will be scheduled to pitch tonight as he'll go up against Matt Ager. On Saturday, first pitch 7:05, Brent Alazares takes on Mike Gutierrez. And then on Sunday at 4:05, the getaway day, it will be Nick Boyle taking on Reed Mooring for Santa Barbara. The Kentucky Wildcats basketball final game on the road against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Tip-off is on Saturday at 2 p.m. Kentucky goes into the season 20-10, 11-6 in conference. On the road, they are 5-4. The baseball, Kentucky Wildcats baseball, as they host Indiana State, a doubleheader tomorrow due to a rainout today. The first pitch on the first game is at 1 p.m. and the scheduled second game will be set for 4 p.m. Sunday, they wrap up the 3-game series against Indiana State at 1 p.m. The Wildcats are currently on a 2-game winning streak heading into this series 6-2. That is your trip around the local sports. And, listen, you look at, the basketball. You look at college basketball and where our local area, finishes off. You see Cincinnati 19-11, and those are really good numbers. I don't know about you, but when you could sit a solid, 7-8 games above 500, those are really good numbers. 22-8, outstanding year for Xavier. Kentucky 20-10, outstanding, record of the season. Cincinnati, I'm hoping they can get to 20 wins on Sunday. And then you have all your college teams out here locally within arm's stretch, finishing off the season 20, at least 20 plus wins. Now it looks like, Xavier and Kentucky is going to be the one heading to the NCAA tournament. But I'm excited. At least something's going right here overall. So that's your trip around local sports. All right, let's step away. Let's come on back. Let's get you guys ready for SmackDown because a couple of things is expected to happen tonight. Roman Reigns has his hands full. I'm still a little at odds with Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley being booked for WrestleMania. I can't seem to wrap my head around it. I can't seem to find an answer. So we'll see what we could do talking about that here in a little bit as we get ready for Raw tonight. And then we'll wrap up the show at the bottom of the hour talking about the AEW Revolution and that pay-per-view that's to come. So much more to come. A heavy pack hour number 2. Don't go nowhere. The TNC Sports Talk continues here on the throw-in continues here on the TNC Sports Talk Sports Talk YouTube channel.
Inside your bedroom, we stopped
build you up, you break me down, tear everything apart. I give you all I can, but then you go and break my heart. Now this ain't true love, boo. Look, this ain't true love, this ain't me right here, so I'm gonna leave you and be with someone who doesn't care. You're running.
Alrighty, 121 here on the Throw-In. Welcome back here to the Throw-In on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. And hour number one was given to you by StreamYard.com. Kind of went into a little bit more depth with that. And I want to give you a little bit more in depth into Spreaker from iHeartRadio. If you guys are creating podcasts or YouTube content that you guys could put your audio on platforms, check out Spreaker.com. Provides the perfect platform for your podcasting. And I want to go ahead and share with you, just like I did for a quick moment, that with StreamYard and kind of went through a little bit more. Maybe I also got to start doing this more periodically. Let me share the screen. And I want to share my StreamYard or Spreaker stream here. There we go. So that really takes a minute. All right, so this is my Spreaker account. I'm not going to get into a detail of my account, but it allows you to upload different podcasts. So back when we had the Jay and Trey podcast last year, I got 12 episodes because we didn't start using Spreaker until about the end of March, April-ish. So 12 episodes were uploaded. And then we have about currently 63 episodes of the Throw-In. And right now I have a package plan that allows me up to 500 hours of content. And then right now I'm currently sitting at a little over 100 hours, which that's a lot of work. Yeah, so going through Spreaker here, you go on, you click on, you sign up, you pay the subscription, and then you come through here and you can upload all your episodes. You could also monetize and use Ad Exchange. And by entering Ad Exchange, it allows you to earn income on the show. And you could see your statistics. And when you go into your if you want to look into your statistics on your personal episodes, you could go down and check your personal episode. So if you guys are looking, and then the distribution, can't forget about the distribution. So right now for the Throw-In, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker. It's added on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and like Joe Sav. Can't pronounce that name to save my life here. So, like I said, if you guys are looking to create your own podcast and you guys want a platform to upload your podcast at, I'd highly recommend checking out Spreaker. All right. So we're getting ourselves ready for SmackDown tonight, available on Fox. And I told you guys that SmackDown, Roman Reigns has his hands full. And a couple of things are happening on SmackDown tonight that can easily start to become of distraction for Roman Reigns. And the distraction ultimately started back at the Royal Rumble when Cody Rhodes backstabbed the Bloodline. I'm going to just use that term right now for reference. And this started a turmoil for the Bloodline because Jay finally came to his senses and started realizing that Sami was really the glue to the Bloodline all of last year. And, everything that came down to it, and to Sami Zayn hitting Roman Reigns with that steel chair, was very validated. And over the last month, Jey Uso has kind of been MIA and been very distant from the bloodline. I would even say from Sami Zayn. Well, no, right now they're playing it very well where Jey Uso, you really can't read Jey Uso, whether he is for Sami Zayn or against Sami Zayn, for the bloodline or against the bloodline. Roman Reigns apparently has been telling Jimmy over the last few weeks, and especially last week on SmackDown, saying, hey, here's your final chance. Either get your brother on the same track and get the bloodline back, or I'm going to have to take matters into my personal hand, this Friday. And the whole confrontation last Friday is now lead up to this Friday night, where Roman Reigns has to address the turmoil in the bloodline. And with WrestleMania so close from each other, the bloodline seems so out of sync. So Roman Reigns is going to have to deal with that turmoil. The other thing is that earlier on Monday, it was announced that Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns will be facing each other once more in Toronto, Canada tomorrow night for that undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And so I'm sure that Roman Reigns, in preparation for that match, is a little bit more distracted than normal coming into tonight's program, which then, oh, by the way, Cody Rhodes Monday night said, hey, listen, I'm going to show up on SmackDown and I'm going to confront the tribal chief himself. And this will be pretty much the first time that both Cody and Roman has confronted each other, been in the ring with each other face to face since, for the first time in WWE. At least for the first time since Cody Rhodes' return and Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble. Now, coming to the match tomorrow night in Toronto for this title, I don't think Sami has anything to lose. And so I think, I could sit here and say I'm 90% certain that Roman Reigns will go on and win. But, there's that, 5% chance that Sami Zayn could walk away going to WrestleMania to face Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And I'm not putting it past anyone to doing that. I'm not putting it past Sami Zayn because he has nothing to lose. His objective on SmackDown right now, just like it's Kevin Owens' objective on Raw, is to dismantle the bloodline. And right now, I think they're doing a pretty good job. Now, as I mentioned to you guys, we are on the road to WrestleMania. We got a few weeks left, limited amount of programs and shows left for us. But if the WrestleMania leads to a Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, I think there's a big, I think we should expect something catastrophic to happen tomorrow night, along with maybe Jay, if he's capable of being in Toronto, which I know at Elimination Chamber, a lot of fans were kind of surprised to see the Usos, because I know, and I think, and I took this away from Armchair Booking Wrestling podcast with the preview Elimination Chamber, that, Canada is very strict about any charges, allowing people to be in their country. And, you heard stuff about, this one time, can we, get this authorization one time, blah, blah, blah stuff. And it still would be important tomorrow night in Toronto if the Usos, if they're still planning on this tag team match, if the Usos get involved And I think you would have to somewhat see something from Jey Uso on finally determining where does he stand, whether that is helping Sami Zayn win and be the new, person that's going to be the new champion heading to WrestleMania, or if that's helping the Roman Reigns win. And I think we could very well see that tomorrow night. But Roman Reigns has his hands pretty full. And, it's not just Roman Reigns. It's Charlotte Flair. And it's Charlotte Flair not because Rhea Ripley tonight is expected to be in action. The fraction that doesn't have a lot of turmoil going on and that is probably more prepared for WrestleMania than anyone else is the Judgment Day, as Rhea Ripley schedules to have a match tonight on SmackDown. And we should see Dominic Mysterio back again. And earlier this week, I kind of presented this notion that, even though the Bloodline is the face of WrestleMania this year, I think you're seeing, you're seeing you're seeing Judgment Day having their WrestleMania moment, and they're shining right now. At least 3 of 4 of the members are shining. And I was reading an article this week, and I think it was Finn Balor who was saying, listen, I'm in communication with every member. We're always recruiting. We're always planning ahead. We're always seeing what's next for us. And, I'm starting to favor the Judgment Day because I strongly feel that 2023 is going to be their big year. Rhea Ripley will go on and win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Finn Balor possibly could retire Edge. Dominic will finally get his one-on-one match with Rey Mysterio, which I think would be important for Dominic to win the match, or at least continue that feud even longer. Now, I don't know how long Roman Reigns, or not Roman Reigns, but Rey Mysterio is planning on wrestling with Dominic, but that is clearly an option. The only person I don't see a role in at WrestleMania is Damian Priest. Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I want to confirm with you guys, and I should have, I have a picture here that can confirm what I'm looking for, because we will see. Let me see if I can find it. Gunther will have. They announced this. Let me. Nope. Come on. There we go. Is that Gunther on March 12th, which is, I thought this date was a little weird. March 12th would be Sunday. All right. March 12th, there will be a WWE announced a huge 20-man battle royal on March 12th at Madison Square Garden to determine Gunther's opponent for the Intercontinental Championship on the road to WrestleMania. So although we're seeing a exciting title match tomorrow night in Toronto, we're seeing a battle royal on next Sunday, and there's a couple of favors, and we'll talk about it next week more into it, but Damian Priest is one of those guys on the list. So I guess I beg to differ to see if Damian Priest will get that opportunity. And what does that mean? Is that there is plenty of men on the roster that has not been given a opportunity. Then I don't, do they deserve an opportunity? I was looking at this list, and I guess here's the ultimate question. I understand that SmackDown, that Triple H, there was a report that there was a article that came out saying that Triple H wasn't wanted smaller match cards so that you can emphasize the actual matches and it's not going to take you 6-7 hours to watch a program. And I'm okay. That's fine. But then we don't see right now. We don't have Braun Strowman. We don't have Drew McIntyre. We don't have Eric. We don't have Ivar. We don't have Karrion Kross. No Kofi Kingston. No Xavier Woods. No Ricochet. Santos Escobar, no Sheamus. And right now, no Solo Sikoa on booked for WrestleMania. Now, if someone knows, please let me know, because I don't think that they're bringing it back and they haven't talked about it. But the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, could we see that return for WrestleMania as maybe a kickoff show? Of course, possibly. I don't know. But it gets me a little concerned, worried. Anyways, a big night on SmackDown tonight. We are on the road to WrestleMania. You think about this. I'm just looking at my calendar, right? We, just like baseball's 28 days away, 28, 29, 30 days away from WrestleMania night 1. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shows away from WrestleMania, besides tomorrow's Toronto show and the 12th at Madison Square Garden. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 shows total between now and WrestleMania that will determine match cards. We know how big Monday Night Raw is going to be this week because we're supposed to hear, hopefully, from Edge if he's going to accept Finn Balor's challenge. We're supposed to hear from John Cena and hopefully get the John Cena and Austin Theory rival going for WrestleMania. We're also supposed to, I believe, see what's next for Becky Lynch, Lita, and I'm also supposed to hear from Logan Paul, who is supposed to go face-to-face with Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. So that's going to be a big show. The SmackDown is leading up to a big show. And listen, whatever the match card is, because I saw another picture here to share to see that right now, with the matches confirmed, we have Roman and Cody, Rhea and Charlotte, Bianca and Asuka, and right now Omos and Brock. Now we're still expected to see Bobby and Bray, Logan and Seth, Finn and Edge, Cena and Theory, Ray and Dom, and if all those plan out, that's a total of 9 single matches. But there are still matches yet to come. So we're starting to shape it up a little bit, but we got to confirm matches and tables start hitting real quick. All right, let's go ahead and take our last time out, head to the bottom of the hour, and get you guys ready for AEW Revolution this week. And you guys are listening to The Throw-In on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
Whenever I'm with you.
Alrighty, what's going on? Last bottom of the hour, 1:43 on the throw-in. Welcome back. Let's finish up a strong show. And this is what I hate about the weather when out here is that when the weather is bad, the internet's bad. And sometimes when you're trying to do things on a laptop and you're trying to get multiple screens going, it has a shortage outage where you kind of get stuck in between. So, when we dealt with, it's frustrating. I have an older laptop, but at the same time, it's very slow, and I just don't know how to get it better. I'm thinking about getting another laptop just so I could do multiple things on that one, and that way I could just work on the stream part right here and then the notes right here. But I mean, laptops are a couple $100. We'll see. Maybe I'll save up for one. If you guys want a pie, buy me one. I'll take that. During the break, I was also watching the part where I came back, and it wasn't too long. But, like I had to go to the bathroom and, all that fun stuff. So, it's kind of embarrassing a little bit when normally I try to time it just right, but I was trying to get all ready. All right. Last big shout out of the day, Epidemic Sound. Discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands. Find the perfect soundtrack and give your social media accounts the music they deserve. Epidemic Sound is a royalty-free music link on the line. And if you guys are looking to add some music to your content, check out epidemicsound.com for You're the Only One for Me by Gloria Tells, available now on epidemicsound.com. Kind of get you the vibrant of the day and everything that is going on. Last segment of the day, ready to kick off the weekend a little early. We'll come back and, starting to take notes, the things that we probably haven't gotten a chance to talk about this week because of, just spending a lot of time on certain subjects and things I want to kind of get into during next week is, obviously you still have WWE, a lot of stuff to talk about on the road to WrestleMania, which cover the Cincinnati sports and cover the Cincinnati Reds. There's a couple questions coming out of, the quarterback situation that we started trying, that I wanted to get to yesterday and we didn't get to yesterday. That's coming out of San Francisco, Chicago, Miami, and now even today, I read an article this morning while I was waiting to get my car serviced, and they were talking about Daniel Jones wanting a larger contract, thinking that he's worth more than $45 million for the New York Giants. And I think that's a liable question. Is he worth the money that is being presented? And that's something to talk about next week. So there's a couple of WWE questions out there. Article coming from Brock Lesnar, more WrestleMania stories to come. And I think the big one we want to start paying attention to, if I don't hear it this weekend, I am a little concerned. Is there going to be a Hall of Fame ceremony this year for WrestleMania? And if so, who's going to be a part of it? Because WWE has yet to announce anybody for this year's class of 2023. So I'm a little quite concerned about that. So SmackDown's going to be on tonight. Check that out, 8 p.m. on Fox. Roman Reigns. We see some things coming out of with Cody Rhodes face to face with Roman Reigns, which is going to be a big night as well. Rhea Ripley in action, and then don't forget right afterwards on TNT is Rampage, which is going to also be a nice big match night. The final stop before AEW Revolution. And let me get that. There we go. I get that up here. AEW Revolution. Kind of want to finishing off the show and the program of the week, because we don't really talk right now a lot about AEW, and this is kind of the first pay-per-view of the 2023 year. We're going to see a couple of title defenses up on the line right now. 4 matches is scheduled for this. I believe 4 matches. Nope. So we have. Here we go. Let me see. AEW Revolution 2023. All right, there we go. I got the right one. I just had the history of AEW Revolution. AEW Revolution, first pay-per-view of the year. We will see Sunday, March 5th of 2023 in San Francisco, California at the Chase Center. And a couple of big storylines coming your way. We currently have 8 matches set and scheduled for this pay-per-view, which is going to be, I think it's the nice filled one. We're seeing a little bit of everything, especially the main event, MJF versus Bryan Danielson in a 60-man Ironman match for the AEW World Championship. And I've told you this, it's kind of my favorite match of the night, other than maybe Jon Moxley taking on Hangman Adam Page. But I'm going to start down. I'm going to start down at bottom, at the number 8 spot, and kind of give you my opinion on these matches as they come through. And that's one that was, I think, kind of settled in on Wednesday, and that was Christian Cage versus the Jungle Boy Jack Perry in a no holds barred match. Now, taking my thoughts on this match just real quickly, this feud's been dated back to when Luchasaurus left Jungle Boy and the tag team division, and this really ended up hurting. I thought this was going to really hurt Jungle Boy's career moving forward. He's paired up with Hook now, and they've kind of been nice, and they've been holding a steady path. But it seems like every time Jungle Boy tries to really push himself to move forward and move beyond the past and move forward with the future, he always gets stopped by Christian. Now, coming up this match here on Sunday, Christian Cage taking on the Jungle Boy. I really think Jack Perry is destined to win this match. Hopefully, it's a clean match. I can see interference being involved, but I think more so goes for the Jungle Boy to finally get his revenge on Christian Cage. Give me Jack Perry, aka the Jungle Boy, over Christian Cage. All right, coming in here for the AEW World Trios Championship match, the Elite with the team of Kenny Omega, Max Jackson, Nick Jackson, taking on the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. And let me tell you something about this match. I just found out that these 6 men will meet each other finally. And the Elites had some pretty decent matches and some good feuds with AEW talent, but nothing compared to the House of Black. And I think if this is anything at all what is expected to be, I think this is probably one of your top 3 matches of the match card in this at this pay-per-view. So I'm going to keep on. I think it's time, in my opinion, personal opinion, to move those titles along. I know we relied on the Elite for quite some time to carry these trio championships, but I think the House of Black, it's time to put some gold on them. Give me the House of Black winning over this match. Coming in at number 6 here on at Revolution this Sunday night is the 3-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Jamie Hayter coming in as champion, taking on Saraya and Ruby Soho. This is Saraya's second title or second match in AEW, and it's already a championship match. Now we know that Saraya is a destined champion, of course. Saraya is also a good talent, and they're going to utilize her and have her in selective matches. Ruby Soho, on the other hand, I think has been really is a really talented female athlete. I think she's undercredited, and she's worked extremely hard to get to where she's at. But I don't see the title being taken off of Jamie Hayter anytime soon. I would say that putting the title on Saraya I think she needs a few more matches, and I think she needs to get built up a little bit more before she actually becomes champion. And Ruby Soho, if they haven't given her the title spot already, then I honestly think that right now, Jamie Hayter, I think what needs to happen is Ruby Soho and Jamie Hayter need to go one-on-one. And this could potentially lead, I could see this potentially lead to something at St. Patrick's Day Slam this month. Although I don't know if they're going to have a title match or not, but I can see it happening. Give me Jamie Hayter. And on the other thing is I don't see Saraya getting pinned at all during this match either. All right, coming at number 5 is Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks. Probably where it's just a typical singles match where the Jericho Appreciation Society is banned from ringside. I think I was just looking at this when I was giving you guys my top 10 earlier this week. Chris Jericho at 53, and it just still surprises me that he's keeping it up with these guys, and he's really developing these guys. You know, Chris Jericho always finds a way to get up and get beyond this match, and I think Chris Jericho will find a way to pick up a victory. Coming in at number 4, in another singles match for the AEW TNT Championship, Samoa Joe taking on Wardlow. I gave you my thoughts earlier this week, and I think it's clear. I think AEW is kind of headed backwards right now with the TNT Championship, and I really don't know why. Is it because they're trying to wait their time? But Wardlow and Samoa Joe, I think it's still so fresh in our mind last summer and last fall that seeing Samoa Joe and Wardlow this time and just in this typical singles match doesn't really spark my attention. I think Ruby is going to be or that's Ruby, excuse me. I think Samoa Joe's going to walk away with this one. But he's going to also have a distraction because Powerhouse Hobbs is also looking for some gold on his other end. Coming in at number 3, probably the second match in rankings out of this pay-per-view is going to be Jon Moxley, Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match. Now, we talked about seeing blood. All right, you're going to see blood. We know this is going to be physical. These are two men that give you 100% all the way through. And there's no doubt about it. This has gotten personal. It's who's the best of the best. No one's really beating each other clearly. It's always been about passing out. No one's submitted. No one's been pinned. Come Sunday, someone I think needs to get pinned once and for all. I think, honestly, as much as Adam Page will need this match, both men will definitely bring the best out of each other, but Jon Moxley walks away as champion. Coming in at number 2 is the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, when Orange Cassidy and Don Hansen found their way into the Battle Royale on Wednesday. They will now be facing the Guns, Austin Gunn and Colton the Guns, taking on the acclaimed Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, taking on Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Now, I am a fan of the underdog tremendously. I will love to see Orange Cassidy, Dan Hansen win some tag team action. I don't know if that's going to happen. Another big fan favorite, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. We'll love to see titles on them. They've come and been a long way in the wrestling world. To see them on AEW World Tag Team Champions will be incredible. But I really ultimately think it's really extending this feud between the Guns and the Acclaimed, and possibly you're going to see a title retain here. Give me the Guns on this one. MJF and Bryan Danielson is the main event, 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Championship. Now, I mentioned this to you before, and how I think we know Bryan Danielson could go the distance, and the question is that can MJF go the distance? And like I said, at the end of the day, at the end of the 60 minutes, it's about who has the most wins. And, I think MJF is going to throw everything he has in the book. But what I really would like to see this match is Bryan Daniels made something very importantly clear, is that MJF has not earned his AEW World Championship physically inside that ring. And I think Sunday win, because I think MJF is going to win, but I think he's not going to win without earning that championship match. So after, if Revolution is over with, I think we should be looking at MJF in another point of view. And not saying that he is not a good wrestler inside the ring. He's a phenomenal wrestler inside the ring. But, you know, I think everyone has allowed him to slip away with just being able to cut promos and being able to kind of run away from his actions, which is a good heel move. But at the same time, you know, I got to sit there and say that, you know, he's not going to be able to run nowhere on Sunday. So that is my prediction for AEW Revolution. We will come back on Monday and talk about all the stuff. We got a lot of sports around the world this weekend. We'll come back Monday, whole fresh start, brand new week. And man, I enjoyed this past week. And for everyone out there right now in the rain, in the, you know, the ugly cloud outside, please be safe. And until next week, you guys have a wonderful week. And signing off, Justin here with the throw-in on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.